Wasn't it supposed to go live so quickly?
You did it 1 minute.
Oh.
Yeah, we're early. 1 minute early.
I meant it early.
60 seconds.
Cheers.
Cheers. Is that your happy Friday dance? Or is that your...
Wah, 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 wah. That's what that. Isn't that like us? Isn't that like us? She's like some songs that just make you want to gang bang. That's one of them.
No. I guess because you taught Omni how to say womp, 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 womp. Now she don't stop saying it every time she sees you. Womp, 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 womp.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Alright. We are good to go.
That was me. You just turn off my mic. I sent you that one.
Yeah, 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 yeah. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm sorry, we were just introing this thing in. If you tune into our audio files on all digital streaming platforms that include iHeart, Apple Music, Spotify,
I,
Pod Addicts, iHeart. Did I say iHeart?
Yeah.
Amazon. All the above. It's just a lot. Yeah, unmute
yeah.
yourself.
But you muted me, so I mean.
My bad, my bad. Anyway, that's intro to this thing in. We got an amazing episode ready for you guys. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you guys, gals, believers, non-believers, all in between. Yes, we just in here vibing right now, and she is the biggest vibe to the point where she is a experience, ladies and gentlemen. in my life, in my world, the best thing that ever happened to me, the apple of my eye, the only thing I can see, the only thing I focus on, the one that I wake up in the morning and be like, why have you blessed me with such an amazing blessing, the blessing that keep on giving. And I'm not just saying that because she is an amazing mother of my kids, but I'm also saying that because out of all the men out there, she chose me. And I guarantee you she made the best choice she can ever make. So give it up, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, for my wife, Nita Bug.
Thank you for that wonderful, beautiful intro. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to someone who's always been there for me through thick and thin, through sickness and health, who always honored their vows from day one. My best friend.
Mommy. Mommy.
What's wrong?
I want copy. I want to eat copy. I want to eat copy.
You just had some pancakes.
Get a milk. Sorry, is it, ladies and gentlemen?
Mommy, go have you milk.
I don't have no milk. Go get one out the bag.
Hurry up. We're on the clock.
Quickly, sir. Quickly. Snap, snap. Chop, chop. You're tired. I know.
Kids. Have kids, they say. It's going to be
fun.
fun, they say. It's going to be a mess.
Hurry up, Junior.
Amazing, they say.
You didn't have to throw her baby doll on the floor.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Go. Don't come out. Go to bed. Good night. We love you. Ciao.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. My hubby.
Yeah, they just took the flair out of the whole thing. They just took the flair out of the whole thing. Man.
Yeah, I was on a roll too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right, so in case you're wondering what we got in store for y'all this episode, we're going to allow y'all to hear some amazing stories about our wedding day. But before that, I got a couple of discussions to get into. But first, I'm just going to let you guys know that y'all might want to stay tuned in for this episode because there's a lot of stuff that happened on our wedding day. I mean, I got into an argument with the pastor backstage.
No spoilers.
Just, I'm going to tell you how that happened. She almost didn't make it in life, meaning that she was literally dying before the wedding day.
True story.
Yeah. But other things. But before we get into that, I have a discussion.
Discussion.
Yeah, discussion. Discussion? Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway. Excuse me. Who? I'm good. So, being that we are podcasters, ladies and germs, a lot of discussions we tabled them for the podcast. Like, so that's one thing, like, being that we are a Christian couple, so of course being a Christian couple in ministry, your marriage already is not as normal as other people. But just add to that, we are podcasters also. So given that, a lot of times we'll get into a discussion and we'll be like, oh man, this is so good that we should not even have this discussion right now. Let's table that, put a bookmark in it, boop, and we can talk about it on a pod. So decided to bring this back up, even though she was like, no, I'm good. I'm not gonna let her off the hook because this is something that's been on my heart for a while now, and who better to speak to the issue than my significant other? So I just want to extend grace and mercy and extend a hand of spiritual jump upon her to tackle this subject. But let's get into the subject, okay? And if y'all want to chime in, y'all are welcome to do so in our chats. What's up, brother Alex Covington? Always in support. Speaking of that, I will send you a text message after this because I want us to get on a Zoom call later on this week about some things that we need to get to concerning Word of Hope. But yeah, anyway, so this is the issue, okay? I feel that us as Christians are doing a disservice to the work of God, the kingdom of God, and the things that He is calling us to do when we feel like we cannot have close relationships with people of the opposite sex. Meaning that a guy should not have like a close Christian relationship with a female of the church. If that guy is married or if that guy is in a relationship, that's a no. Like, vice versa for guys and females. And I feel that it should not be like that. So let's chime in on that right now because I'm seeing steaming up right now. Y'all can see the steam coming over our head right now.
No.
Let's get on it. You can't just say no. Why?
I was talking about no to the steam. I wasn't saying no for my answer, but my answer is no. But mainly because I feel like some men's
Some men.
some men's
What?
intentions are okay. Let me backtrack.
Yeah.
I feel if you are a man and you're married and what is the purpose of you forming other relationships? Like, is it a friendly relationship or is it discipleship relationship with the opposite sex? Like, what's the purpose of it, of that relationship? Is it just to be friendly, Christianly, godly man? Like, what is the purpose of you forming relationships with the opposite sex?
When I'm the purpose of it is like as a brother and sister in Christ, I feel that those relationships are vital and very important in the body of Christ with building the kingdom of God and also like really vital in personal growth as well. Because as I know there's a lot of females that grow up thinking that guys only see them as one thing or guys only want one thing from them. So in that sense, if in church we choose to penalize every guy or every female just in case something might happen that not never did happen yet, so we don't encourage those kind of hey Bishop, I meant Apostle, I'm sorry, Apostle Hogan is on in the evening. So I feel that if we start penalizing, it's like, okay, well, we're gonna not really encourage those kind of relationships because just in case something happens.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm more so saying like boundaries need to be set in place.
But that's for everything. And now in this day and age, where come on, let's be real, we're in 2024, so you cannot even trust male and male relationships or females and females relationships, being that there's a lot of that going around, especially in the church. So therefore, how can you have confidence that okay, my significant other is discipling someone of the same sex, and they're not? What?
See, if you're discipling someone of the opposite sex, your significant other needs to be there also.
But I feel like what if not really a discipleship, just like a brother sister Christian relationship to the point where sometimes they might have something that they want to ask you or
Why can't you ask the wife?
but that's advice that they need from the opposite sex
Why can't they go to the pastor?
because the pastor is so above their
Okay, there's other leaders in the church that they could go to also. So why can't they go to the other leaders who are of the same sex as they are, and you know,
But why? I think it is appropriate for opposite sexes should be able to be friends with each other as long as it's purely friendship basis. And I believe that the couple should be on the same page as each with the situation. I also believe that you should be able to trust your spouse enough to know that they won't do anything wrong. That's my thing. I feel that like it should not be that stigma. Like I don't trust this.
it's not I don't trust my spouse. I don't trust the other person.
Yeah. So how can you pass judgment on someone that you're literally in the body of Christ with, and you're supposed to have that relationship?
Because that happens often.
Yes, but it haven't happened, and you don't know if it ever will. So it's kind of like you're penalizing someone for something that he never did. That's kind of like penalizing somebody in your relationship for something that your ex did. Oh yeah, we potting tonight.
I'm just asking questions because that is a big fear of like a thing of mine. Like
Personal.
yes,
So, yeah.
it's a personal thing.
So it's
So it's like when I see like you're building like relationships with the opposite sex, I am on edge because it's like I don't really care for it.
see, that's
All
what,
right.
that's where I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like get to the point where we're able to separate personal issues that we have to work on individually to us projecting certain stigmas on Christians. Cause I'm not saying it's just you that feel that way. I feel that the majority of the Christian community feels that way, even in a lot of instances where they be like, okay, it's time. Okay, let's pray for each other. Men with men, females with females. Then it's like, but what if I'm led to pray with my sister? What if my sister has all her life she has this stigma to her that she thinks that guys only want one thing, and she has this like distrust for guys, and then she meets a brother in Christ that shows her that hey, you are precious to God, and I don't see you for that one thing. I see you for what God sees you as, a daughter of Him, and then respect that person that way, and literally like remove that stigma over her life. Like man, this guy actually is just there for me. He's actually a brother in Christ. He's actually fulfilling something that I need. Like I need like a brotherly figure to protect me, secure, like to be that person that I can feel safe around that does not want anything from me. I don't have to fear him trying anything because I know that he's a stand-up guy with integrity, and I know this about him, and now I'm starting to see others differently now. So, any comment on that?
I guess that's just something that I have to work on internally because I just stand by what I feel at the moment. So until I get delivered or set free from that mindset, it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, I only say that because I know that that's something that you feel, and honestly, like there was a time where I felt. Oh, I'm sorry. There was a time where I felt that I did not want my wife or my significant other to have a friendship or just have like a cool buddy, even if it was a brother and sister relationship, with the opposite sex. And that's something that I always felt like, man, what's the point? I don't see it and stuff like that. I felt exactly like you until I started really praying and asking the Holy Spirit questions about that. Like, is there something inside of me that I'm looking at wrong, or there's something that happened to me to the point where I feel this way and I'm stopping something that you may want to do that, like I'm like hindering it because of my bias or something of that nature. And then, of course, me being the person that I am, I like to like make scenarios for in case something happens. So my always go to that made me feel more comfortable is, hey, at the end of the day, if my significant other does something, then that just exposed the kind of person that they are. So, I'm gonna move accordingly after that and stuff like that. So of course in that situation it's like you never know until that person's in that situation to be able to know who you're dealing with or the person that you're married to or your significant other. So I just wanted to really bring that to light because I feel that there's like this barrier between the opposite sex in church. Like there's a fear of crossing that barrier because, hey, this person, hey, they might have sex. Let's like be real. Like that's the fear. Like, hey, we don't want the opposite sex to get too close or to build relationships because they might have sex. And it's like we're not giving Christians the benefit of the doubt to be like, hey, whoa, wait. Cool, okay. All right, Alex, okay. Let me read this. Okay, men and women as Christians can be friends with set boundaries. So especially if married, but let's look at it. I like that. This say I consider Juanita a Garrett. But she used her whole government name as a friend and she needs to talk about something and I need to pray over her. I believe I can, but we not meeting anywhere in private or with a spouse. So the fear of some of these things are from a culture or a sense of trauma from the past. So we need to look at always setting some boundaries to others outside of marriage, but we should trust our spouse to do what is right. Exactly. And I also feel like even in this thing because there was like I literally went on Facebook. It was like a little while back, like recently, and I started like friend requesting. I think there are wise limits and boundaries to what is appropriate for opposite sex interactions. A lot of people have been church hurt from being too trusting. Yeah, also, and then like I feel that it also gives people an opportunity to expose where their heart is and who they truly are. In that sense. But if they're never in that situation to be able to expose that about them, then you'll never know what's in the heart of a person. But yeah, I started like requesting a lot of females from the church that we attend, and it kind of like really baffled me that they wasn't already my Facebook friends. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. Like, why they're not my friends? And I thought about it. I'm like, oh, there's this stigma. But my brother, I'm proud of you. Thank you. We got to connect and hook up, man. That. Yeah, so that's one of the things I wanted to get at because there's a lot of things that I'm looking at. That's why I shared with the Covetons on their podcast that we are going to need counseling. Anyone can be tempted into harmful sin. I think King David is the perfect example of this. Yes, And then I also think like, okay, there was this. I'm a part of this discipleship group also online. It's a podcast and stuff like that. As a pastor, and I'm a part of it. It's called The Basement, and we're considered dwellers. And he tackles a lot of issues and stuff like that. So he told this story. It's a pastor. He told this story that he retired and started a podcast. Okay, he told this story about how he was counseling this couple, and he found himself being attracted to the wife of the couple that he was counseling. He found himself like something rose up in him, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm attracted to this female." So the minute at the counseling session when it rose up, after they ended the session, he went to his admin and was like, "You're gonna need to book that couple with another pastor because I cannot counsel them anymore." Then after that, he went home and told his wife. It was like, "Hey, I stopped counseling this couple because something rose up inside of me and I became attracted to such and such." And I felt like, I'm like, man, that's crazy. But he was showing how much, like how much control that he had in this walk, meaning that the attraction came out of nowhere. But instead of him trying to feel like he was so holier and more spiritual than the next person, that, oh, that just arose in me, but I can get that out of my system and all this other stuff. He's like, nah, it arose in me. So instead of me putting myself in a position where it can grow into something out of control, I remove myself from the situation completely, because you cannot control when that happens. Have you ever been like cool with someone and all of a sudden something popped up and you're just like, man, that person is so cool, and I think I attracted to that person. Like, y'all met as friends, y'all was cool. You never ever saw that person in that light, and then out of nowhere something rose up and you was like, man, now I'm attracted to that person. So
Yeah.
it can happen, and it's something natural that happens, but that don't mean that we don't have to bring it under submission of the Holy Spirit and do whatever it takes to make sure that we don't fall into sin by lusting after that person and going forward in that. That's a wonderful work of the Holy Spirit. If he was able to walk with the Lord in that powerful of a way, that speaks a lot of that man. I know that's exactly what should be done. You have to use discernment. Exactly. That's why I wanted to, discuss that. Okay. Next topic before we get into my -1 episode. Another thing I want to speak on about. Do you feel that there's you okay?
Yeah.
Do you feel that there's okay, let me word it like this. Okay, there's something in me that is in fear of raising my kids out of fear and not out of love. Meaning that, being that I grew up without a father, lost my father before I turned 3, had that father wound that really took me down some horrible paths and stuff. But knowing that if you're not delivered from certain traumas and things, that you can be doing things out of fear and not out of love, or actually doing it. Yes, I parent for years that way. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm currently am too. Like, I won't let our kids out of my sight in fear of, you know, them being touched inappropriately or whatever, because, 2 out of 3 of them can't speak
Yeah.
for themselves, especially our 4-year-old.
Yeah.
She can't, say what's going on, or, stuff like that. So it's fear of, me, you know, what happened to me in my childhood, and, not being allowed to speak up
Yeah.
in fear of being beaten or whatever. So yeah, I'm currently parenting like that, and I see it's changing our kids in a bad way, because it's like, oh no, you can't do this because of, of this, and our eldest, our son, is like, he's still he he asks a lot of questions,
Mm-hmm.
and he's always asking why, and I don't really have a valid reason, and I don't want to tell him because I said so. That's not a good reason to tell him, why he can't go spend a night somewhere or
Yeah.
go outside or anything like that. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like there are safe things that you can put in place to protect your
Yeah, it is a
kids,
process.
and then there's other things that you are operating out of that spirit of fear to the point where you are hindering their growth, or you are like projecting something spiritually onto them that they might grow up with, and now they have to be delivered from that because you parent them out of that. I was molested, but I have realized that I'm okay. Yes, that was traumatic, but if I would have had a level of support, level of support.
Read it. Read it.
You can read it.
Oh. She said, I was molested, but I have realized that I'm okay. Yes, that was traumatic, but if I would have had a loving support growing up, it might have not been as traumatic for me growing up and cause major damage to be in my early adult life. God can truly heal anything if we allow Him to work. Yes.
Amen. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just a lot of things I've been realizing. That's why I was like, yeah, that's counseling that I feel like we're gonna need to implement into our lives. Also, personal therapy individually to just work through some issues and things of that such, which would make us, that much better as a couple. Because I think I mentioned it at one Bible Holics podcast. Shout out to Alex Covington and Megan Covington, pastors of the podcast. Doesn't mean we go to the opposite way and let opposite. Yep, exactly. Yep, they can't go wherever either. It's like, nah, because I can really have boundaries, but I can also know that, hey, I cannot fully trust people to the point where I can just allow my kids to just be at their mercy and be like, oh, just in case they're not truthful, I don't want to take that chance. It's too big of a chance, especially with your kids, to take that chance to see if someone's really who they say they are. It's like, nah, too big of a chance, won't do it. Because as much as close as I am to God, do not tip me in that area when it comes to my kids. On God, like, do not tempt me in that area when it comes to my kids. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like taking, our, because these children are our first ministry. Our kids are, and like our kids, a lot of times minister to us. In case people don't know, we have a autistic 4-year-old who is amazing. But she also taught us like a lot how to be patient, how to like really be sensitive to how someone
Surroundings and
their
to other
surroundings,
people.
and how someone is like to be like to understand that, hey, you can't just bypass a person because you don't know how that person is, and it opens your mind that people are created different, people are made different, they can be going through so much things, they can be wired a certain way. What?
She said, yes, don't play with my kids or I'm going to be jailed ministry from the inside.
Amen. Like, I only support that, and I support you 100%, and we will write you, and I just hope that you write us too. I'll be preaching revivals up in there, doing life from y'all touching my kids. Yep.
That's arms.
Yeah, so just being able to, knowing that she's wired differently, like there's things that we're gonna have to study about her to be able to interact with her, like things of that such, and knowing that, hey, we can't just allow ourselves to just look at other people or also allow ourselves to, what I'm looking for, to be disappointed at other people if they don't respect or if they don't understand all those things. Because there's a season where we went through there where I was very overprotected, of like her being that she's autistic. So like if people would say certain things or people would treat her a certain way or just like try to interact with her and they're not doing it the right kind of way, it would like something will rise up inside of me, and I had to like really surrender that. I think we all are guilty of parenting out of fear of some sort because we don't want our kids to get hurt, and we have to protect them from everything. Yep. That means real that protect them from everything, but at the same time we have to learn them we're gonna have to let them do and learn to figure stuff out for themselves so that it teach them in this independence. Because if we don't, it'll make them feel like they aren't capable of doing anything on their own. I also understand the fear of something inappropriate happening, and I think that is very parents feel, yeah, but it's
Yep.
even just abuse in general. They could be doing things verbally or physically, especially if you have a child who can't express that exactly. Yep. So that's all good things, man. We should have like a parent episode, just like a parent episode for like all the parents, and we can just like all chime in one time. Like Alex, brother, yeah, we gotta make that happen. Have like a parent because there's a lot of things we go through as parents, and it just would be good to just vent and have a moment where we can just all sit down and just talk about it.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
down for that.
Oh yes, oh yeah. So before we get into the marriage, I got a thing for that I wanna let's do it. See, that's the confirmation right there. I have something to inspire single people because I know nowadays I'm seeing a lot of posts, a lot of videos, a lot of things about like how hard it is to find a spouse or a significant other or like to find that special someone. It's like they said the dating pool is let's say it's thin and it got pee in it.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are searching for areas and things and people that's already established, and they're not seeing the a person that can grow into something amazing that they're searching for. Because the thing that really attracted me to my significant other, my spouse, my wife, is how God seen her. Like God showed me how He sees her, and I seen her that way, and it was amazing. It was so beautiful. It was so gorgeous, and even at a time where she wasn't really connected and close to God, God knew her heart. God knew what kind of person she was, and I look at that as I used to tell my supervisor when I was the foreman back in the day at a mechanic shop. And I used to tell my supervisor whenever he was looking to hire people, I say, stop looking to hire good workers and start looking to hire good people. I'm like, you can teach a good person how to be a good worker, but you can't teach a good worker how to be a good person. I'm like, you're going to always fall short. That good worker is going to be so prideful, so hell-bent on on their capabilities, that they're going to think that they're God's gift to earth, that you need to cater to them and all this other stuff, to the point where they're going to exploit you.
Yeah.
I'm like, but if you have a good person that shows up on time, that's willing to learn, that's loyal,
Humble.
humble, I'm like, man, you can take that person, you can train that person to do a job, and you ain't got to worry about that person stabbing you in the back, stealing, just leaving out, just behind your back going to get another job for better pay and all this. I'm like, you don't have to do that. And of course, he didn't take that advice, but he seen what happened and it ran the company into the ground to the point where it had to shut down. And I'm like, dude, you gotta understand. And that was something that God showed me. He's like, I'm showing you a great woman. So it doesn't have to be, oh, I need her to do this, I need her to check these boxes, oh, I need her to have her own car, or I need her to have her own money, she has to be able to do 50, like, no, like, God's like, hey, this is a great woman, she's loyal, she's humble, she'll add to you, she'll push you into things that you never done, you'll be able to do, she'll add value to your calling, to your ministry. She will be an amazing mother for your kid. And all these other things that she's showing me, he's like, and I couldn't even see it yet, but he's let me know the spirit that was upon her. That's why, as Christians, we like to tell these people like, hey, allow God to pick your spouse, meaning pray on it. Be so caught into God, be so into God that whenever that significant other shows up, God will point you to him by his spirit and you will see their spirit and that will connect on such a powerful level that you guys will be a blessing to the kingdom of God. And y'all will flourish as a couple. So that was just my preaching moment of the night. Now it's time to get into some drama. Who's ready to talk about that very amazing day where me and her tied the knot? Yes.
Me. Oh, I am right here.
All right, so we are about to transition, ladies and gentlemen, to that special day and all the chaos and mayhem that it brought. So let's start with. I guess we can start with the night before. Let's start with the night before.
Why the night before?
Because you did not have a very good sleep.
No, not. It wasn't really the night before. It was like the weeks leading up to that night and the day of.
Expound on that for us, if you don't mind.
Well, it's actually a little fuzzy in the beginning, but what I remember most was me being very sick for like weeks. It was like a couple of weeks where I was like very sick to the point where I couldn't eat or drink water or anything like that. Couldn't keep anything.
Hold water down.
Keep anything down. I was going back and forth to the ER. They're giving me different diagnoses and stuff like that. And I remember this one time they gave me potassium because they said my potassium was low, and that just made it so much worse to the point where I was like literally dying on my deathbed. Like I was in the bed and
right, she was deteriorating.
I was literally deteriorating. I was under, I would say, I think 90 pounds. I was like 90 pounds. And it was bad.
That was like
and
90 pounds, soaking wet.
And I remember going back to the ER. I went to a different hospital actually.
Yeah, we was going to the hospitals in our city. I'm not gonna call them out, even though you guys know if you get shot inside that hospital, have the hospital bring you to another hospital. That's
so we had to go to a whole nother city's hospital. So they treated me over there. They gave me fluids. They told me what it was. Mind you, I don't remember what it was. Okay, so don't ask because I don't remember. They gave me some medicine to help combat whatever virus or whatever. And so I remember telling him, I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it walking down the aisle. But if
title, my -1.
If all else fails, you're going to have to roll me
in a wheelchair.
Down the aisle because I was so weak. I was so weak. And mind you, I had already got my wedding dress. It was already fitted. I had already did the necessary alterations to it. I didn't even try it on like after I got sick. So I was like, man, if if I
After she lost so much weight.
I lost like I think 10 to 15
Yeah. Now,
pounds.
if you have met her, you know that she's not bigger than a minute. You know, she's a few seconds. She's a few seconds. I give that to her, but just picture her being like 10 or 15 pounds less than that.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember having to eat like basically baby food and Jello. That
Yeah.
was my that was my food. But anyway, I remember I don't know, it was a lot of stuff that was going on. People were dropping out of the bridal party and
Had
people not
groomins dropping out also.
people not communicating what their addresses were. It was simple stuff. It was like, man, I don't know. If I was supposed, I just want to get married at the courthouse because I don't like planning weddings. I don't like weddings. Like,
But
it's
if
just,
I mind interrupted for a second, the reason why I was pushing so hard for the wedding is because God wanted this wedding. And I didn't know why he wanted this so bad until after the wedding happened. Then we knew why he wanted the wedding so bad. Because prior to the wedding, just know if you listen to the last podcast, I think it was the last podcast or the podcast before that, when I was saying how your family really we wasn't really on good terms
yeah, yeah.
with her family, so just being under that stigma and her literally deteriorating, meaning that we don't even know if she's gonna live for the wedding. I literally was in fear that I'll wake up and she'll just be dead. I was in that fear. I remember like praying that like God just give me the pain. I'll handle it. I'll take it because it just hurt me to see my bride to be in so much pain and just so weak. But through it all, just still smiling. Like she had like the biggest smile and like I mean that something also that I loved about her. Like no matter how much pain she was in or what she was going through, like it couldn't take the joy off her face. Like she'll just have such an incredible smile, and it would just make my spirit smile to see that smile that she was just smiling through it. She wasn't complaining. She wasn't crying. That's why. That's when you know when God picked your spouse, men. Whenever like she has 100 million reasons to complain, and she does not one time just be like, oh, I'm so weak, I'm so hungry, I can barely walk. And not one. She's just smiling through it all. Go.
Yeah, so, I
And
remember,
another thing.
I remember, I think it was like a day or two, uh, before the wedding. I was supposed to have, I don't do bachelorette parties, but I was supposed to have all the uh, bridesmaids come have like a little sleepover and we would play games and do pre-wedding preparations and stuff like that. But no one came except for my two nieces and my maid of honor came. I was like, okay, that's cool, and but everyone went to sleep. I was sleeping on the couch with my eldest niece, and I got kicked in the head. I had a mild concussion.
Yeah, you think we forgot about that, Alyssa? Alyssa, we got it out for you. Just remember, if y'all got her Facebook, please tag her in this, Alyssa Gary.
I forgive you. He obviously is
We
still
got to have a
sour
conversation
about it,
about
but
that.
I was like, oh my god, my head hurts. So, but and then I don't know. The day of, I was feeling really sick still, and my best friend at the time, Liz, was like, "Come on, before we start getting ready, I'll go get you some chicken nuggets, to help, you know." And she went, you know, take me to McDonald's and got me some chicken nuggets, got my nails done, and you know, get back in time to start getting ready. And It was just a lot because we started getting ready early in the morning and no one was ready by the time we had to leave.
Women, like, okay, women.
It was.
I don't know what y'all be doing at these events and everything, but man, y'all be doing the most. Like, what is gonna take for you guys to be mindful of time? Man, I'm about to be attacked by every female in the world right now. Let me just go ahead and let you finish. But yep.
Yeah, it was crazy, and you know, getting there late. I remember getting there late. I was supposed to be there like at 5 to get dressed. Um, we got. I was riding with one of my bridesmaids. He got lost, had to turn back around, so that cut our time by 5 minutes. I'm like, they're not going to be happy about this, of how late we are. And, I tried my wedding dress on. I'm like, oh my God, the sleeves don't fit. Like, I had no shoulders. Like,
Yeah, no shoulder.
It was like-
Hashtag shoulderless.
like, I had the sleeves that were like, it was a sleeveless dress. It was supposed to like hang like, I don't know, a halter or whatever. And my sleeves were just like, I had no shoulders to hold up the sleeves. It was just bone. So I was like, I don't have any pins to fit it. I'm my dress is longer than what it was. Like, did I shrink? It was like a whole bunch of problems. But on my side, the girls still weren't dressed by the time the wedding rolled around. And, I don't know what else happened back there because they were being fussed at for not being dressed. They were supposed to arrive dressed already, and I had already told the pastor, I was like, no, we're all going to get dressed over there. So it was a big commotion.
A few of them was like drinking in the parking lot or something.
I don't know. They locked me in the bathroom and I wasn't allowed to come out.
Yeah.
After
you got shoved?
Yeah, I was. We were rushing and they were like pushing and they were like shoving and stuff like that. And
no, that was like a time I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
you was. I was coming down the hallway and you were coming down the other hallway, and I guess they saw you and they like pushed me into another room or something.
No, my oldest brother pushed her into another room.
That dude's like almost 7 feet tall, pushing a 4'11" person. Like, I went flying.
Yeah, and you know that she was already weak, could have barely walked, and he just shoved her into another dimension.
Lucky I made it out. And then they had to bring me all the way around to the front of the church to go to the bathroom where my dress was. That's what happened. My dress was in the wrong bathroom. So I had to go all the way around. And then I got fussed. I'm like, not right now. Not right now. So I don't know what else happened because I was locked in the bathroom for the rest of the time.
Okay.
So take it over.
All right. So, unlike her, we had a pretty decent night, the fellas. Of course, we didn't have a bachelor party. I don't rock like that. We went to a pool hall. We shot pool. We listened to music and just chilled and vibed. And then after that, we all went our separate ways. Like, my best man and a couple of the other guys were supposed to crash at the crib, but they did. Everybody wanted to just crash on their own. So, of course, I was like, hey, we're going to meet at my house to get dressed and stuff. So that morning before the wedding, minus my little brother because he had to like literally
Your
go.
mama also had to go dress shopping that morning too.
Oh yeah, I remember like having to go with my mom like everywhere the day before, and we was like 2-3 hours late for the rehearsal.
Yeah, I was.
The day before.
Yeah, I was staying at your mom's house at that time because I think it was like 2 or 3 days before I was at her house, and we was having a rehearsal at her house, but I wasn't allowed to be at the rehearsal.
Yeah.
Either.
They locked you in the room.
Yeah.
And we was having a rehearsal,
Chicken.
Like everybody was there waiting for me to rehearse, but I was like everywhere with my mom because she didn't have an outfit for the wedding.
Yeah, y'all was really late, and I was like getting agitated.
Yeah, everybody was getting agitated. It was, but Anyway, moving on. So that morning, where all the guys showed up except my little brother because he had to go get a haircut.
With
And,
daddy.
yeah, with my little nephew because he was the mini groom,
Yep.
stuff like that. So okay, we're vibing out, man. We got Drake on. We just vibing up and down. I mean, like we was cooling. Like it was just like an powerful moment. Like it was empowering because we're all up in there. We're getting dressed. We're vibing. You know, everything is good. But you know, I should have known better because
Everything was going so smoothly.
everything was going too smooth.
It's like,
way too smooth. I'm like, everything is going. Man, we show up to the building like earlier than we were supposed to. It wouldn't be a wedding without all. Exactly. So I should have known better because I'm thinking, oh man, everything is smooth and everything. Thinking like, yeah, man, everything is smooth because God's hand is upon this. And then we showed up to the church. So some say, hey, call your uncle to make sure that he is still coming to videotape the wedding. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I already got the photographer taken care of and everything. I was like, my uncle volunteered to videotape it. So, you know, I hit him up. I was like, hey, uncle, I just wanted to let you know thank you from being able to videotape my wedding and everything. He's like, oh, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I got called into work. So
This was like an hour before the wedding.
an hour before the wedding. So I'm like, so mad. Like I went from, oh man, everything's going good, man. Can't wait, man. We vibing. Got hand is up on this to hanging up the phone with my uncle and literally desecrating the church parking lot with vulgar language. Like every curse word that I did not say since I've been saved, I caught up in that parking lot. And my oldest brother, knowing that I have never, ever was in that state of mind since he can remember before I got saved, he has never seen me in that state of mind. When he seen me, smooth criminal, when he seen me in that state, it pissed him off. So of course he's mad. He's having to sit under the tree now, like outside and everything. Just know, like we're fully dressed in white tuxes, right inside the parking lot in March. We're inside the, you know, like in the parking lot, just upset and stuff like that. So one of my groomsmen, my homeboy Kagan, shout out to Big Kagan Poe. He was like, hey man, my boy who I work with down there, you know, he videotapes and does everything. Like I can ask if he can videotape the wedding. I'm like, cool. He's like, the only thing is he at work right now and he gets off at 4 and the wedding starts at 5:30. Huh? It started at
5:30.
Yeah, and the wedding starts at 5:30. So we would have to go he would have to go pick him up from work, bring him home to get changed and to get his equipment and bring him back to the wedding for 5:30. And we was in New Iberia and he lived in Generate. Okay, so we're like, okay. He's like, but I'm gonna do that because I know you guys want these memories of your wedding. I'm like, thank you. So, okay, I'm already in my zone. So now I go in the back. I'm sitting down in the back of the church. Okay, they're having service in the church because they was having service before our wedding because they were supposed to have service on that day. Like they had these services Saturday evening, so they're having a quick service before our wedding. So I'm in the back trying to like get myself back together. It's like, okay, you know, because I don't want really to mess up this day. I already got kind of screwed up, so I'm trying to reel myself back in. Okay, so boom, I'm to that point. All my groomsmen, the worship of the church drew them in, so now they left the back. The whole point was for all the groomsmen to stay in the back. Like we wasn't even a part of the service, but the worship drew them, so now they're in the congregation getting their worship on. You know, so I can't hate on that. Yeah, I can't hate on that.
I kind of got a glimpse of that because I kind of came out because I had a surprise knock at the bathroom door, and it was my family that I didn't expect them to see, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
god!
I
And so I
know.
was like, I just see the groomsmen go side to side, do
Man, there
walking it
was
up, and
cutting up in that worship,
and
and like it
they're
was a
like,
blessing to see
Pastor.
him do that because like a lot of my groomsmen wasn't like church going people, like they, but to see the music, the worship draw them in, it just reminded me, okay, God, hand this upon this. But of course, just like Peter, whenever he's like, "You are the true living God," and bam, after that he was like, "No, God, no, like that's not gonna happen to you. Chill out with all that." And he was like, "Get thee behind me, Satan." That's how quickly this things can change. So therefore, we're cooling and everything. All right, now it's almost time for the wedding to start. So the pastor comes backstage and was like, "Hey, y'all supposed to be out there already, waiting for the wedding to start. Why y'all aren't out there?" And I'm like, "Because my groomsmen went get the videographer to videotape it." And the pastor was like, "I don't care. Like, we submitted this time to God, so this is the time we're gonna start. So either y'all get out there and start, or I'm just gonna cancel this whole wedding." So once again, I zone back out and I start arguing with the pastor backstage. Now, not knowing that the mistress of service comes back there to find out why we're not back there, but she has the microphone in her hand that's on. So now I'm backstage arguing with the pastor, and everyone hears it in the congregation. Like all the guests are seated waiting for the wedding to start, and they hear me going back and forth with the pastor. Like we're like literally arguing. I'm like saying like, how can you cancel my wedding because one of my groomsmen who literally did everything he was supposed to do, was here on time, was dressed on time, rented his tux, and did everything to support and be a part of his friend's big day, and you are going to start without him because he went get the videographer to record my special day. Like how dare you? Like we're going back and forth. So my best man steps in, he grabs me, tries to calm me down. Then my brother steps in and he talks to the pastor. And if anybody knows my oldest brother, he was known as the hothead, but at that time he was the peacemaker. So literally, he actually pieced the situation with the pastor and my best friend calmed me down because I like to say this, like everyone has tamers, and it's usually someone that you respect. So of course, my best man was my best friend from since we was fourth grade. So he was able to calm me down and he pieced me up. He's like, "Hey, we don't have to start right then and there, but let's just go out there and stand out there like we're supposed to do, and it'll give them some time to come back." So I'm like, okay, so I agreed. So we went out there. Okay, so we standing up, and when I get out there, I'm seeing everybody, they cheering, they hollering and stuff like that. Of course, your boy looked good. I was fresher than the best fruits. I'm looking so amazing. Everything is color coordinating. I mean, my cut is fresh, my fit is fresh, my groomsmen are fresh. Man, we looking all good. I'm posing for pictures and everything. I'm checking up the dudes. I'm hollering at my people like, ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. So we up there, and the music starts. So I'm like, why are they starting the music? Because like literally my homeboy is not back yet. So they start the music and the bridesmaid starts walking. So they start the wedding. So I'm like, crap. So I just allow it to go on, hoping that my homeboy would be back in time. And he actually came right after everybody walked. Like right after, yeah, right after
Really?
everybody walked
How
because
did he get all the photos of everybody? Did he make them walk back down the aisle
no,
again?
we already had the photographer over there. The
Oh,
video don't start
video.
until
Okay.
I start praying on the door for you. Yeah, I'm about to slide into that. So, okay, but then while they're walking, okay, the walking kind of go beyond the song. So the song that she's supposed to walk to comes on, which it wasn't supposed to come on. I had it in order. So the person that was controlling the music, which
Yeah.
was the assistant pastor, he put on the wrong song. So I'm so embarrassed. So I'm like standing at the altar, and when her song comes on, when the bridesmaids are walking, I look at the assistant pastor through the glass with such the evil look, and I grind my teeth, and I'm like, "That's the wrong song. Change the song!" Like with so much anger, like I'm about to come up
Yeah,
there.
because I was actually, when the song came on, I was about to, I opened the door and I forgot what you call the person who um, directs the bride and
I call her the mistress of ceremony, I guess.
masters or whatever.
Mistress. She was a
Masters,
female.
don't call her a
Mattress.
mistress.
Mistress.
Whatever, the person who coordinates everything.
Yeah, the wedding
Coordinator.
planner.
Yeah,
Coordinator
her.
person.
She realizes that I wasn't supposed to come out yet, and she pushes me back into the bathroom.
She got physically assaulted.
She
so
pushes
much
me back
during
into the
her wedding
bathroom.
day. It was crazy. Like, there wasn't no verbal communication. It was just
I was like-
tossing her.
I was like, y'all could have just told me no. Like,
Like the abuse that she would stain that special day in itself. Like, oh man.
like I wanted to press charges. Like, yeah, so they pushed me back in the bathroom. They hurry up and close the door. I'm like, that was rude. Like,
I mean, it was
Like-
it was crazy. So like, and the
Like, not
look
yet.
in the assistant pastor's face
Uh-oh.
when I did that, he's like it was like, oh, I'm sorry, like so much, and I'm like, oh my god, like I am like literally like
you've been a bad boy.
Zilla out here.
Yeah, I wasn't even a bridezilla the whole time. I was a sweetheart. You
You
became
was too busy getting physically abused
and
to be
being
anything.
and being sick. I was still recovering.
Yeah, so me and like I wanted it
Yeah,
to be
you
so
were a
perfect
groomzilla.
that I mean, whew.
Yeah, you were a groomzilla.
So, yeah. So, okay, now it comes to the point because, okay, newsflash. One thing that I did not do that day was pray. I was supposed to pray before that, pray that everything went smoothly and everything because, trust me, I needed the Holy Spirit to be with me because I'm telling you, my flesh was running up and down.
Shame. Me
That
and my
church
girls
that
did.
day. I mean, I was on one. Like, literally, I was ready to throw down with anyone.
Even the pastor of the church.
Which was a lady pastor. I was, like, literally arguing with a lady pastor, which was one of my groomsmen grandmother. Like, I'm literally like, I don't know what was wrong. Bad. What was wrong with me? Lord, man. But I apologize to the day after that and everything. But
yeah.
before I was gonna get it in. Like, hey, this is our big day. But my focus was and my anger was because I wanted it to be perfect for you. Because I wanted to show you how much I adored and loved you. So, stop.
I could tell because you wanted everything to be perfect, but at the same time, I didn't care because at the end of the day, as long as I was marrying you, I was married to you, and we was going to spend the rest of our life together. I didn't care.
Oh, I wish we had an all sound.
Oh.
So, before, one of the things that I made sure that happened within the service is that I get to pray for her before she walks down the aisle. I was like, I want to pray for my soon-to-be bride before she walks down the aisle. So after the groomsmen and the bridesmaid walked, together and stuff like that, everybody was up there. They grabbed the mic and it was like, okay, now it's time for the husband,
The
groom, the groom to pray for his bride to be because he wanted to pray for her and stuff like that. So we're gonna let him go out into the foyer area where she was because she was
so
in the bathroom,
sweet.
and I was gonna lay my hand on the door and I was gonna pray for her before she walks down the
Now
aisle.
nobody else saw it, but they did hear it.
Yeah,
from the
nobody
mic.
else could see it, but they can hear it because I had the mic. And I started praying, and I mean, like every ounce of the flesh, all that ounce of anger and all this other stuff just like went out the door, and I was like, okay, now God has full control of this wedding, and now it's about to go exactly how He wants it to go. And of course, it did just that because she comes out, and I mean, you can hear everybody, oh, she's so cute. I mean, she comes out to Matthew West, When I Say I Do, amazing song. And I mean, she starts breaking down crying. I'm in tears. I mean, it was just such a beautiful thing. And her family's there, and my family's there. She has people from Africa there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just like this beautiful thing, and then like it turns into this spirit filled wedding ceremony. Like literally, people were speaking in tongues, and I mean, it broke out to be like this amazing spirit filled.
Not only that, but forgiveness, reconciliation.
Yes, like
Uh,
her family came up to me and was like, I see how much you truly love her, and whatever happened in the past is the past, and from this day forward you are my son, you are part of the family, and we love you, and the embrace and just the acceptance. And I mean, it was just so much, and I knew that was the reason that God wanted this wedding to happen, because even like after the wedding, like literally after the ceremony, she was healed.
yeah, it was tough. I'm not gonna lie. Walking down that aisle was a battle in itself. The pastor's husband walked me down the aisle because I didn't have a father figure to walk me down the
Yeah.
aisle, but I asked him, and he was like elated with joy
Yeah.
to walk me down the aisle. And they got a picture of
Mm-hmm.
us with
We
her.
actually got the video too.
Oh,
Yeah.
and he's like, take your time, because I was like kind of still weak, and I was like, oh, I'm tired already. And it wasn't even like halfway down the aisle, and he's like, you can do it.
Mm.
You can do it. He was like encouraging me, talking to me, praying with me the entire time down the aisle. And I'm like, okay, just a few more steps. Just a few more steps. Y'all, I'm telling you, it was a battle to walk down that aisle. Every step was, oof.
We got to say our vows to each other, personal vows, written by us, but not really written. It just like came from our hearts,
Yeah.
and of course it was amazing. And my one of my groomsmen did a
He wrote a
exclusive.
song.
He wrote a song for us and
us.
performed it
It was
live.
beautiful.
A beautiful song. He was able to have our first dance together. And
Yeah, the pastor was like, y'all doing your first dance? Here? In the church? We're like, yeah. Why not? Like, it's,
oh, okay now. And it was amazing because like we didn't even know how much they cared and loved us until like the wedding. We knew, but like the wedding kind of like confirmed it a lot, because they like allowed us to do a lot of stuff that I don't think they allow others to do, like to not only to have the wedding there, but also because they did like everything, the catering, the decorations, everything free of charge. They just like blessed us with a wedding, and they like just like seeing their face, like you're gonna have like your first dance inside the church kind of situation, like oh like oh that then it was like yeah, it's like okay, because they trusted that we wasn't gonna do no like Juvenile back that thing up, or Luke come on up and shit that, like we wasn't gonna like not break that out in the church. But
not for our first dance.
yeah, not for our first dance, but
When she heard that, her grandson was singing something. Oh, okay.
yeah, I know he ain't gonna, yeah. So what else? We didn't get to eat.
No, but we did go to McDonald's after the
Yeah,
reception,
yeah. We went to
and
McDonald's.
I couldn't even enjoy the reception because I was just so tired and weak. I was like, I just want to go home and sleep.
All right. So, what was running through your head throughout, like the wedding, like before the wedding? Like, what was a thought that kept popping up?
I hope I make it.
That's good.
I hope I make it because I was just so weak. I was tired. I was actually just drained from everything. I was just ready for everything just to be over, so I could just sleep, because it was a trial. The whole process, the whole 6 months was a trial, from the beginning to the end. And then like once, everything was done, I was like, I can breathe now.
Yeah.
What about you?
My stuff was I wanted it to be perfect for you. I wanted to make sure that was like, I don't know. I think I really wanted the wedding to show you how important, how loved you are, and I felt that wedding would have been like a visual showing of something that a lot of us been telling you all this time. Like, we had to show you physically, like, hey, we really love you and care about you because this is all for you, not for me. This is all for you because nobody cares about the groom at all. So it was like all for you, and I wanted you to have that feeling of just being a center of everyone's attention and everyone just being in awe about how beautiful and amazing that you are. Yep.
Yeah.
Smooth.
I, it was it's people who I thought, didn't really, well, they, how sometimes people don't really voice how they feel about someone until, they actually show up. And I'm like, didn't expect you to show up, and, it
Mhm.
was great to see, everyone come together.
Yeah. Shout out to the fams. Like, I had family that surprised me too that showed up. I'm like it was so much that see people on the video and be like, man, that person was there. Like,
So I
that's
didn't see
yeah,
y'all.
like it was just so much. It was like such an amazing time, and also just knowing that I like wasted that first experience on like someone that didn't really deserve that's a good thing that we didn't have a wedding, but coming off of that and then coming into that wedding, like, no, it has to be a wedding, it has to be in the church, it has to be a blessing. Oh, to mean to tell y'all this, like, we at first we was like denied our wedding being able to be in the church because I was divorced before. Like,
This was at another church.
that was at another church. That's why I
This was at another church.
That's why I like the church that I began, like the church that I preached my first sermon in. They wanted to bless us with a wedding because like we was scrambling trying to find a place to have our wedding at. Because this is the thing why I hate religion. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything no more. I've been standing on business lately. This is crazy, okay? Like, okay, say you're a person like me that I had a failed marriage before I met what is now my amazing bride. But hey, this first marriage. She grew up in the church. She grew up a minister's daughter. And you're gonna deny her the privilege of being married in the church because I had a failed marriage. Before I even knew she existed, I had a failed marriage, and now she doesn't get the privilege of having her wedding in a church. the house of God because of my failed marriage. Really, it really like kind of sucked. And being that our first counseling session, they ignored her being there, and it was mainly like,
That was painful
yeah,
for me to
yeah,
have to sit there and him talk about your ex.
yeah. Like wanting to know the details of
I'm like,
my
why is he
ex.
asking these questions knowing that he knew everything beforehand?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's the one who gave you the go ahead to marry. Like, I just didn't understand it. Like, my heart was broken because he just sat there and talked about your ex while we're supposed to be planning
Yeah,
counseling sessions
for our marriage.
for our marriage, and that that broke my heart. I'm like, I don't want to hear about his ex.
By the time, D'Artagnan, you're kind of late, sir. What's up to you too, sir? You must be on CP time, huh?
Yeah, that broke my heart.
Yeah, that's like crazy. Like so, like just knowing that we've been through like a lot of.
And then the audacity for him wanting to still conduct a marriage.
Yeah, like he did better than not at all. You're right. You're right. Better late than never. Thank you for the support, sir. You know, all we knew what you meant. So and that like yeah like not really throwing those shots, just stating what happened. So I yeah like I refuse to let him like oversee the wedding because I'm like you're not allowing us to get married in your church,
And we didn't even do counseling
and we didn't even
sessions
do counseling
with
with you.
him.
You kind of like put us off on someone else. So it's like, yeah, you're not. Yeah, I'm not really going to allow you to bless this marriage because you was the one who blessed the last one. So with that one, what happened to that one? But moving on because I want to get up on that because yeah, moving on. So after the wedding, of course, we took the pictures. We got kicked out of the church because we was taking too long to take the pictures. So, but by that time, I really didn't care. I wasn't really on one yet. I just, you know, wanted to just enjoy the rest of the day. Like, you couldn't really tell me nothing after that. I don't believe in pre-wedding counseling. Why don't you believe in pre-wedding counseling, sir? Like, I would never, ever tell anyone to not go through pre-wedding counseling. I feel that there's conversations that y'all need to have. Things need to be put in order. Like, literally, like, conversations like, okay, who are expected to do what task? What are you expecting from this person? What is this person expecting from you? Because there's a lot of relationships that I had to counsel personally.
Give me a minute.
Okay, where people was like, where individuals was like, hey, this person doesn't do this, and I always ask them, well, did you voice that to that person? Did you actually get a verbal confirmation that this person would do this? No, but I'm just assuming that since, it's like this, then that person should do this. It's like, if you do not verbally state, because expectations change during marriage. I don't believe that, yeah, expectations, like certain things change, but I feel like if you and your significant other have an agreement, then tell me that everything that was expected stayed the same. Yes. Like everything that we stated in premarital counseling, all the things that we stood on, it's like, okay, if if you do this, I'm expecting you to do this. If I do this, then I'm expecting this of you and stuff like that. Now, things that happen like agreement, yeah, like we grew in some areas, or there were some things that we did not state within that marriage counseling that arose in our marriage that we had to deal with it as it came, but we had foundations already in place before we said I do. And not only did we have premarital counseling, Not only did we have premarital counseling, we also had uh, counseling from being married in ministry, meaning that we knew that we was gonna be in ministry. So we also had that counseling. So we was going with two counselings before we got married, and yep, he's like 30 years old. So let me ask you this question: is there some things that you wish would have been talked about before you said I do? Like some things that you could have been like, hey, we agreed on this, and now you're changing your mind when we actually agreed on this. Like they had a third party person that was there when we agreed on this, and now you're changing these terms. So you're wrong in this sense. And it can't be like, oh well, I just changed it. It's like, nah, we agreed on something, and now you're changing the terms. So do you feel that there's something that you wish would have been discussed before you got married, before you said I do, Mr. Latania? Hello, sir, sir. Anyone? Honestly, everything changed. It's like, honestly, everything changed. You know what? That sounds like a Drake album title. Honestly, everything changed. Sound like something he would name his album. Just saying. But I know there are certain situations because, like, okay, one thing that didn't was financial responsibility. Oh, cool. See what me and my wife, like, at the time, like, me and her relationship, it always been me. I was the provider. I worked. Like, my wife never, ever had to work since we met. I always made sure that I was able to financially take care of her to the point where if she didn't want to work, she didn't have to work. If she wanted to work, that was just something that she wanted to do, but I never required her to do so. That was something that I felt that I wanted to give her that opportunity as a husband. I wanted to bless her with the opportunity to not having to work. So ever since we met, she has never been required to have a job. And we have been making it ever since. There are some times where, something happened to me, or I lost employment, or we went full time ministry and financially we couldn't keep up, but I stepped up in those areas and was able to also take care of that financially. But I'm saying to people, like, I feel that there's conversations you need to have with your significant other before that becomes your significant other. You need to, like, but life throws curveballs. She may have to, even though y'all agree in the beginning. Yes, but I feel that if we agreed on that in the beginning, and it comes to the point where I think financially now, uh, yeah, but if I'm not, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I have that, like, I put it to the point where she has that option now, if it ever comes to the point, because they have came to the point where I broke my foot and I was out of work and I couldn't work, and we lived with my mom at the time. We was in a one bedroom. We had three kids, but that's how you feel. Does it mean? Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I'm not saying that how everybody else feel. I'm saying when you have a significant other and you guys agree on something, if there's an agreement, if there's a foundation to the marriage before y'all say I do, if the if something happens, then y'all come together and y'all come to another agreement on that task, on that topic, but you don't just change it up, or that person just don't change it up because they want to. It's like, nah, we came to an agreement, meaning, like, it can be some so simple as, okay, if I do this, like, if hey, if I cook, you wash the dishes, like something like that.
That's actually something that we agreed on like later on in our marriage. Like, there's just certain, not, I wouldn't say roles, but tasks that each individual, I wouldn't say assigned to, but feel comfortable doing. Like, I cook and clean because I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I take care of the kids. I feel like my role as a wife and a mother is to take care of the household while you take care of the outside
Hmm.
things. And that's just something that we agreed on, not because that's just the roles of society. No,
Yeah, yeah.
that's just something, we agreed on, just mainly because, you know, that's just what we're, I guess, more comfortable of doing. I take care of what the medical side of things. I take care of the appointments, um, all that type of stuff. Just mainly because you're out doing the other work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I guess it's just something that each couple has to sit down and come to an agreement on, or um, a commitment on.
This dude right here. Me and my wife just spit shook on everything. But that's the thing about it. It's not like you're more likely if you guys both stand on like if you guys both stand on business on what you agreed upon. You gotta look at marriage like we're not building a democracy with votes from the outside world. We're building a kingdom within our marriage for our household, meaning that we set the rules, we set the regulations, we set the temperature. Not the outside world, not our friends, not our family members. We set the rules, the regulations, the temperatures, the laws. We set this. It doesn't matter what society says. It doesn't matter, what anybody else says. It doesn't matter how this person marriage is. This person marriage is. Hey, if we want to be married and we agree about how we want our marriage to be and some things that we got to take responsibility for personally and some things that we got to agree on collectively for that marriage to flourish, that's what we do. And you usually do it before you agree to it. It's like, okay, these are
Terms and conditions.
yeah, the terms and the conditions. Like, do you agree? Do you say I do? Because like after the wedding planning and everything, you get to the altar, you might be looking at these terms and conditions, or you might be looking at that spouse and be like, you know what? I don't really think they're gonna hold up their bargain, or they haven't been holding up their bargain, or maybe I don't want to hold up my bargain. We agree on things, but it didn't involve counseling. In fact, the counselor probably wants to break us up because he or she loves Michael. But counseling helps to get things out of the way, like how all the kids are going to be raised, like things like that. Like, how do we want to raise our kids? How do we want to school our kids? Where do we want to live at? What's more important? Is it location? Is it schools? Is it church? Like, things like that. Like, like how do you see family get-togethers? Are we going to spend all family get-togethers with my family? Or are we going to split up holidays, go here with your family? Like, things like that that matters because arguments come out of those things in the future whenever you don't set the line or set the boundary or talk about those things. Like, ask about certain things like, hey, like, financially, like, what do you do in this case? Or, like, where do you get your financial tips from? Like, things like that. Like, you don't want to be like, okay, I'm married to someone that can't even keep the lights on because they rather, buy the newest video game than to, or be a new family traditions to them. Like, yeah, like some things like that that you want to make and agree with your significant other. It's like, okay, we are setting the tone. We are setting the bar. There's no other bar. It's no, oh, well, we got to do it like this. It's like, no, we're coming together and be like, okay, how do we want to do this? How do we coexist together? Like, I know what you're bringing to the table. You know what I'm bringing to the table. You know where we're meeting at, and these are what we sticking to. So if something changed, we can call that person out. Hey, we agreed to this, and now you're saying this. We agree on living in bed. Didn't quite work. We agree on spending family time. holidays, but my family doesn't get along, so that was out. Yeah, but how does that change the connection between y'all in the marriage? Like, how does those things like that in people, like when you mentioned, like some people are on their like third marriage, it's like not because of the negotiations failed in counseling, because other things rose up in the marriage, other issues, other insecurities, like other things. Because right now, me and my wife is in a place where people will consider amazing as a married couple. Like, we are not at each other's throat. We're amazing to each other right now. We're both happy in our marriage, but we still know that, hey, there's a lot of areas we need to grow in as a married couple, because we're not moving. Like, we're in a position like we're good, but we're also not progressing individually or as a couple, meaning that like we are cool where we're at, everything is good, there's no violence, there's no clashing, there's no beefing between us. You said it right now 5 times exactly. So what's the point of the a point of counseling is for you to have a middle person that is not nose blind in a situation, because when you are getting out what you want and stuff like that, and that person is getting out what they want, how they want to live, how they grew up, the things that they want to bring to the marriage, the things that they want to agree with, the things that they want to disagree with. A lot of times we don't understand when we're being selfish, or when we're talking out of tradition or something like that. Like, we don't see our own crap a lot of times. Like, we don't notice that, hey man, I'm making these decisions based off of this. So as a marriage counselor, you can point out certain things that a person might not even recognize or see. That's why a lot of people go to therapy, because there are some things that, even though they're experiencing some things, there's some things that you can't even see about your own self because you're nose blind.
And counseling is also good to resolve conflict resolutions. Like, um, before a problem arouses, y'all could come to a common ground to see like how each of y'all will, respond in a certain situation. Like, I remember one of our um, sessions. I remember our counselor asked us, um, if y'all have kids, will y'all continue doing ministry? And I remember our responses, and they were different. Like, I'll say I'll probably wait until the kids are a little bit older to, understand like what mommy and daddy does. But you're like, no, I think it's a good idea to get them involved like right when they're young, so that when they grow up, they can be used to it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
So it's like it puts things on the table of how y'all want y'all marriage to be conducted within your own household. Um, let's see, what did he say?
8
Uh,
premarital
what's
counseling
on top?
tips to discuss.
Your expectations for marriage, yeah, the possibility of children. Yeah, it covers a lot. Counseling does cover a lot of aspects of, of marriage expectations and stuff like that. And I can tell you, for us, we went through 6 months of intensive marriage counseling, from we did 2 sessions, not 2 sessions, we did 2 different types of marriage counseling. We went, it was like twice a week, with our counseling. So I remember it was very intensive. It just opened our eyes to, well, my eyes to a lot of things concerning marriage, and a lot of expectations that I would have out of my soon to be spouse. And I can say firsthand that counseling has actually helped in my marriage, because voicing my voicing our opinions, our expectations, and um, ideas within the for our marriage actually helped because it has also opened up an avenue of communication that I would have never had before, because it helps us put things on the table like, hey, this is what I expect out of our marriage, and you know what do you expect out of our marriage, to see if our expectations would line up with each other, or do we need to compromise on certain things. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just a way of seeing where each other's at. So it's not really a bad, I wouldn't say it's a bad idea to have premarital counseling. I think it's basically a good tool to have, especially if you are in it for the long haul and not just for the sake of being married. You know what I mean?
Intimacy will 100% change, and I stand on that in my circle of friends. Intimacy will 100% change. I don't think that people don't understand that in marriage counseling, like premarital counseling, like there's certain things that you can get insight on your soon to be spouse that you might end up falling out with that person before you learn those things. Like, okay, you might have a question like, okay, what does what do your spouse do whenever they're disappointed? And you might be like, oh, I never saw that person disappointed before. Okay, what do you do when you're disappointed? And that person was like, oh, this is what. Okay, dude, how do you resolve your disappointment? Like, what do you do? And you find insight about your significant other. Be like, oh, okay, so this person is a little passive aggressive. So therefore, if something that this person doesn't like or dislike, this person acts this kind of way, instead of me like reacting because of how they react, you would know that okay, that's something that I know about that person. So therefore, we can discuss it, or we can actually deal with that issue before we even get married. It's like, okay, instead of you doing this, because if you do this, this is how I'm going to respond. And if I respond like this, then you might respond like that, and then bam, we're at each other's throats. So if you put that already on the table, you don't have to be put in a situation where y'all are clashing in a marriage and start looking at each other like, oh man, I married the wrong person. Because now y'all are in different situations, y'all are in different seasons of your life, and now a different person is emerging because you never saw him in that light. When really you had the opportunity to ask him, hey, whenever this happens, what do you do? Kind of situation. Like whenever something that you like, what happens if you don't get what you want? Like things like that. What happens if what happens when you're happy? What's some things that make you happy? He's like, wait, what intimacy are we talking about? The bedroom or the feeling between
Both.
the two people, like in touch or emotion?
Both.
Yeah, I think he's
All
talking.
aspects of
Yeah,
intimacy.
because a lot of times, like I feel that also, if you do not really know how your partner moves, meaning like how they react to certain things and stuff, a lot of times it
Wait.
damages the. He said both. It damages
No,
the
he said,
intimate.
did y'all discuss how to handle you when you're quiet or say you're fine, but you're dealing with something within yourself? In fact, last episode, y'all realized to just let you be quiet and you will speak when you're ready. Yeah, we discussed that. Like, whenever we're not fine, we just want to be quiet and give each other space to just let them figure things out, and then when they're ready to talk, yeah, they'll talk when they're ready. It's not really a
Yeah,
big deal.
but some things that we did not discuss is some things that arose while we was married, like certain insecurities that we didn't discuss that allow us to move in certain ways that we wasn't moving before when we first got together and got married. Like whenever you start giving into certain like insecurities and stuff like that in your life, you start making different decisions now. So that means that okay, now as a married couple, now we got to come back together, and now we have to find out a way where we can discuss these things in a healthy way, where we can move forward in these things. But I'm saying that why look at premarital counseling
A bad thing.
as a bad thing? Like I I can't see
Hold
what
on. I gotta ask. Is it a fear of being vulnerable with someone else, or is it fear of exposing your heart? Like, why is premarital counseling or counseling in general such a
it's not bad, it's just not needed.
for
So if let's say it like this, okay, it's not needed. Okay, so you're saying that just give them the position without the proper training, the proper the proper orientation, the proper run through. Just go ahead, give them the tool, and just let them go at it. Hopefully that two people that came from two different walks of life, two different backgrounds,
just learn how to
just
coexist
learn how to
without.
coexist without killing each other. Even though in our nature we are selfish beings, so therefore we're gonna want what we want, and then we're forced to come together and put somebody else's needs above our needs that we might not even know what they need or what they want or how they because we just have a physical attraction towards them, or just like how we vibe because we're in a good position right now, but you don't know how that person is whenever you lose your job or whatever. Do everyone train to be a parent? uh, Not necessarily in that sense, but there's things in life that prepares you to be a parent. Sometimes you figure marriage out doing, but that's the thing. Like, why would you not want something that can give you an advantage? If they had pre-parenting classes, which they do,
They do.
have
They do.
pre-parenting classes. Most people don't do it because we think that, oh, I'm just gonna wing it, and that's why so much
I don't.
kids are messed up today. That's why this generation is how it is now. So much people are like, I'm gonna wing it. I'm just gonna wing
No,
it.
because there's no real manual on how to be a parent, because every kid is different. Just like every marriage is different, but in counseling it teaches you how to communicate. It teaches you how to be
He's like, I'm not messed up.
okay.
Can we have an opinion from your wife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get Miss Dana on the
Get Miss Dana on
the
this, and
yeah.
let's see.
I want to see where she.
Yeah, let's see where she's at on this subject.
We'll give you 5 minutes.
I'm not messed up. But honestly, like, if there is, like, that's why I feel that so much people be looking like the old heads. Like, man, the old heads got wisdom and knowledge and everything because they've been through certain things and get to be the root of, do you really love this person, or is it?
Yeah, her opinion is 30 years, but I still want to hear it.
But
I want to hear from the
and she's
woman's point of
asleep.
view.
Okay, but like what Alex says, get to the root of, do you really love this person, or is it just? But then, in a sense, is in pre-counseling, you have to define what love is. Like, okay, what's your definition of love? How you see you loving this person? Because a lot of people interpreted love a different way. A lot of people interpreted love a different way. That's why they got like different love languages and things like that, because people interpret love a different way. Now, lust will pass. It
Yeah.
always pass. And a lot of people get into relationships for lust. They get into marriages for different things. Like, they just want someone. They to be married,
Or they already have a kid, so they just decide to
yeah,
get
like,
married.
let's just get married, or we have no problems, let's fix our problems by getting married, or my parents wasn't married and I just want to be married because I'm trying to break a generational curse. And it's like, you're not breaking anything by getting married. When you get married, now the real work begins. Because you can't just put it on autopilot and expect it to flourish and be anything. You're gonna wake up divorced if you put it on autopilot, thinking that like, okay, I'm just gonna be me, they're gonna be them, and we was like this before. Why can't we coexist? Because now it's this person, life, culture, ins and outs, the way that they do things. Like, I remember at the beginning of my marriage, it used to drive me nuts where she would put groceries and stuff at. I'd be like, what the heck is going through her head that would make her put certain things like that? You know what? At the same time, she was thinking the same thing about me. Like, why would he stack groceries like that? Or why would he put these things in these areas? It's stupid. You know? Let's just agree to disagree. Trademark. See, you promoting the podcast. Episode coming next week. But yeah, that's a good thing though. Like, to understand like the significance of a marriage, and especially like knowing the biblical principles behind it that a lot of people don't really want to take into consideration. And I'm not about to get on that topic because I know that's just gonna like really blow it up and go to another level about that. But we're just saying that like, if you have the opportunity to be put in a position where you're better off and you're in a position where you got the upper hand, why not take it?
Yeah.
Like, why not take it? Like, that's like someone's like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna teach you how to do something before they start hiring people to do it. So whenever they start hiring people, you have the upper hand because you already know, you already have experience in it. So you can bring that experience to them, and you're like, oh, this guy already knows it and everything. It's not much that we have to teach this guy. So you got the job. You have the upper hand. So why are you like, nah, I'm just gonna go ahead and be on the same level with everybody else? Because they met someone, fell in love, and they got married too. So why do I have to go through all the premarital counseling and all the pre things? It's like, because you really don't know what you're in for with that person. And then you find yourself years down the line and it was like, man, why this person reacts like that, or why that person does this, and I'm expecting this person to do this when they do this. And every time I tell that person, they catch an attitude. It's like, well, you didn't have a problem with it before because you didn't voice yourself, because you assumed that they would just snap and do everything the way that you want them to do it, the way that you like them to do it. And I counsel a lot of people that felt that way about that, man, because I do this and this person start doing this. Like, what make them do that? Like, why they not doing this? They should be, if I get home from work, like, why this person ain't did this and this and everything. It's like, did you say that you require that person to do that? Did you guys agree that this person would do it? No, but anybody in their right mind is like, whoa, wait. That person does not know. Maybe where that person comes from, they didn't do it that way. That's why I listened to this clip online, and it was this guy. He was deciphering the difference between sharing a kid and co-parenting a kid. And he said that's a big difference. He said when you're sharing a kid, meaning that just because you have a degree doesn't mean they didn't cheat their way through school. Now I'm taking advice from someone that learned how to counsel from YouTube. Who learned how to counsel from YouTube? Expound on that. But let me go ahead and let me go ahead and finish that. So this guy was saying how there's a difference between sharing a kid and co-parenting. And he said that being a dad, and one time he picked up his son, and his son came out of the bathroom, and his son had like the bath towel over his chest, and he told his son, hey son, you ain't got breasts. Like, you don't need to do that. And his son was like, oh. And then he realized that his son is learning things at his mom's house that he's going to have to start teaching him, like, not doing everything. And he can't allow him to grow out of that because there's things that you don't just grow out of. You know, like, people just don't all of a sudden, like, oh, that person don't know how to clean up, or eventually they'll grow out of that. No, if you don't teach that person how to clean up, that person's never going to clean up. So he was like, nah. I told her, like, nah, we're going to have to co-parent. If he's doing something, if we got rules and regulations over here, he needs to have the same rules and regulations over there. Because what happens is, if he goes over there and y'all lay on the rules, he's going to think that, oh, I'm just mean, or I'm just like this kind of way, or he's going to feel like, okay, if mom cleans up for me and I ain't got to do nothing, then whenever I'm with my female, my girlfriend and everything, I ain't got to clean up around her because she's going to clean up like my mom do, and then his girlfriend going to be looking at him like, look, this dirty dude don't know how to clean up after himself. And he was raised that kind of way because they was teaching him two different things. So he was saying that's the difference between co-parent and sharing. Like, we have to have the same rules and regulations over here. So if he has the bedtime over here, it has to be the same bedtime over there. He can't be eating junk over there and eating healthy over here. It's like, nah, that's a big difference. So therefore, we got to get, everything to the point where we do it together. So a lot of people, the reason why I feel that a lot of people don't get married or don't last in a marriage because y'all can't get over y'all selfishness. Y'all just want to be who y'all want to be, and then y'all want to hold it against the other person when they be who they want to be, and none of y'all budging. So therefore, you feel like, hey, I can just find somebody else that's going to be more like me or going to cater more like me. And trust me, that person eventually is going to do the same thing because then that person is going to want to be them. So a lot of people just want to go ahead and they're looking for people that fits who they are, not who God's calling them to be. Now I don't want to take it to the spiritual realm. That's why I kind of got low. But bring me back to what I said at the beginning of the podcast, that God showed me the spirit of this young lady that made me want her to the point where I was like, oh man, like, I know what God is doing, because even though I can have these boxes that I want to check off, God says that the spirit of this person is going to bless me beyond any box that I can check off. And she actually had the boxes that I want to check off with Mike. She has some real hair. That's a big thing for me. I didn't like no bald head, scatterwags, ain't got no hair in the back. I didn't like chicken heads. I liked it. Females with their natural hair. That'll check off the box, which is, I know that's like a crazy thing, but that's like a big thing to me. Like, I wanted a female that didn't have kids, but I kind of gave up on that because I felt like every female around my age already had kids. So I kind of compromised, and I was like, nah, you're not going to have to compromise with this one. So I kind of was like, man, she doesn't have any kids? I'm like, man, that is like, right there, like, I can just propose to you right now on one knee just because you got your own hair and you ain't got no kids. Like, I'm sold already. And I'm like, and then you're like light-skinned? So, I'm waiting, man. Where you at? But the YouTube, the concept from YouTube, who learned? Because I went to school, got my biblical degree, and majored in biblical counseling. Problem is, we try to want to be with someone so bad, but it's not the person God wanted for us. Joseph, me, and you can both understand the trying and went with the wrong one. Then we got the one God said the second time. Of course, I can tell you, like, I was horny with my first marriage. Like, I knew that. Okay, first of all, that was the last person I had sex with. So, being that
He cooking.
who cooking? Cooking, oh. Being that that we had already that tie, I was like, okay, and then being that individual, being that individual, like been through a lot of ups and downs already, figuring out that like, well, I guess we're meant to be together because like literally we went through so much, not knowing that that don't mean nothing. That just mean that we supposed to been split it up, and now we just put a ring on it and thinking that we good, which is crazy, but a lot of people do it. And then another thing that really also gets to me that we project. A lot of times we project like our wants, our needs, our traumas onto the other spouse, and then expect them to pretty much heal something that we got to heal personally. So a lot of times we get into a connection and we're dependent on that person to feed trauma in our lives. So therefore, we're just using that person to try to what I'm looking for. Try to kind of what I'm looking for. My mind just went blank. But yeah, we use that individual to try to uh,
Heal.
heal, and try to like fix something about a part of us. Like there's a lot of things that's like serious, like trauma bonding, things of that such. Like there's a lot of things, and
Yeah.
people don't understand that if you start your marriage with a strong foundation, then whenever things occur, you're already in a very good position already.
To
Y'all got
where
a
y'all
strong
can, yeah.
foundation, so y'all be able to withstand and take care of those issues and deal with those issues because the foundation is so strong, and that foundation gets strong before y'all say I do with things that you know about this person. Find foundational things that you know about this person, like foundational things like I know that this is how this person reacts. I know what this person's been through. I know what this person expects. So we can build a foundation from there, knowing that I know how you cheating. I know how I feel about cheating. I know how we feel about like being in the company of the opposite sex, like things of that such. And whenever we are feeling a different way, like we discussed at the beginning of this pod, we have a conversation
Mm-hmm.
and try to figure out like, okay, I told her I'm like, okay, I know throughout our whole relationship we had this thing that we cannot be in the same room alone with the opposite sex. Like we can't be in the same vehicle with the opposite sex, like something like that. It's like there's so much things that can be misconstrued, or that person can say something that didn't really happen, and then doubt get introduced into your relationship, and now the doubt eats your relationship from the inside out to the point where now it falls apart because that's all you need to do is start to doubt your significant other, and then after that everything starts falling apart. The whole foundation and the whole bottom
It starts to crumble. Yep.
start to crumble because it's like, well, what if that person was telling the truth when they said that my spouse made a pass at him? You know, like man, because why would that person just say that randomly? That person could be jealous of your relationship. It just want to throw a wrench in it, and now you're taking that doubt and you're going forward. So it's like, well, for us to never run into that, let's just build boundaries to the point where, but now we're to that point where like I trust my wife enough to be like, if you're in a room with the opposite sex, I know I have nothing to worry about. And if that person be like, hey man, your wife did this, I need video proof. I need proof. You need to show me proof. You gotta literally like pull up and be like, hey, I'm with her right now. And I'm like, oh, cool. I swung around there, and I gotta like physically see y'all together for me to believe it because I trust her to the point. Like I trust her 100%. Okay, this is my spouse. I know people be like, man, you can't trust anybody 100%. Okay, cool. Live by that, and let's see how y'all relationship is. Let's see how y'all marriage is.
That's toxic.
That's toxic. I have to trust my spouse because legally she has power over my life. So therefore, if something happens, she can tell a doctor pull the plug or keep him living. So if
I
can,
don't want that much
yeah.
power.
So one flesh, exactly. So if I can trust them with that much, and I can be like, well, I only trust them like none of that because you never know. You should know, and if you don't know, then you better get clarity before going forward. Because trust me, I'm not gonna be. I wouldn't even go to work if I felt like my wife had an ounce of cheating in her, unfaithfulness in her. Cause I'd be so nervous, like I'm not about to pay bills for you to sit up and cheat on me with another man. Like I'm like, you know how hot it is. The temperature is on cremation, and in Louisiana. You think I'm about to get cremated for you to lay up and cake on the phone with somebody else, or whenever I dip off for him to dip in? Man, boy, I don't. Man, you ever saw somebody like neck get squeezed to the point where it just pop off? You know? Y'all have a special Stay Yo episode where I'll go live and y'all will see me completely destroy both of them. I'll put them both in front of the camera and be like, all right, tell me why you here. My name is Jacob, and what you been doing? Your wife, exactly. No. Wait right there, Jacob. Wait right there. Okay, come on. Used to be Bay. Come on. You explain yourself now. Who are you? and what you was caught doing? Okay. Now can y'all both let everybody know why y'all about to lose your life live on camera? Huh? Why? Oh, y'all don't have to send me in the chats talking about where the kids at. Don't worry, they taken care of. I already called my mama and everything. Like, hey, man, take the kids for a second. Me and my wife got some talking to do. Hey. Oh, man, that's toxic, man. They got a pastor over here talking about how he would kill his spouse and everything. So, like, if you don't love that hard to the point where you contemplating, killing your significant other if they break your heart, is it really love?
That's enough.
Is it really love?
Move on.
No.
What you get all worked up for? It never happened.
I'm just
saying.
It
never will.
I'm just saying. I watch too much true crime.
Stop with the crazy scenarios.
Sure.
Getting yourself worked up for nothing.
Yeah. So, man. And all these people that using like failed marriages as an excuse to not go forward and do what God is calling y'all to do, like, no excuses. Coming from somebody that was married before, no excuses. Just know next time how to move. Like, just grow. Like, use those situations and grow. Like, okay, well, this is where, this is what I can take responsibility for, and this is what I can, know next time to avoid and stuff. So, push forward. Like, everything is growth. Like, season, growth. Marriage, growth. Parenting, growth. Christian walk, growth. Everything is growth. When you start growing, you start dying.
To self.
Well, you start dying
to self.
Spiritually and everything, too. Like, when you choose to not grow. That's why I was like, man, me and my wife, marriage right now is awesome. But
there's still areas that need growth.
Yeah. And just because we're not touching those areas doesn't mean that those areas don't need to be touched. Meaning that, like, well, everything is good. That's another thing. Like, I feel like a lot of married couples like to just have everything good.
I want things to be awesome. Amazing.
Great. Extravagant. So therefore, like, oh man, we good. We ain't beefing. Ain't no arguing and everything. It's like, if that's all that y'all aspiring for, like, what about like personal growth? What about like things that individually we can grow in, and then things we can grow together collectively? Because we don't stop growing individually. Because my wife last season ain't the same wife that she was. Like, she changes. Like, this is not the same. Excuse me. This is not the same person I married. Literally, she grew so much, and she's still growing. So therefore, I can't never be like, no, Mr. O, you. No, like, whenever you grow, I gotta meet and get to know that new person, and then I gotta grow with that person. Now there's new levels that we gotta aspire to. There's new things that we gotta unlock. There's new hurdles that we gotta jump. There's new issues that's gonna arise now because she used to be so uh, docile and quiet and just now she has a voice. She has an opinion. She first was up. She stopped growing. Hey man, you gonna leave my wife alone? I'm the only one that can call her short, and she's 5. I mean, she's 4'11". She's 4'11".
4'3".
Yeah, she is 4'11". That is 4'11". Thank you, sir.
That
She
that
stopped
hurt my
growing. She's
feelings.
still 4'3". She is 4'11". Ain't that right, babe?
It's 7/8.
And 7/8.
You better give me my 7/8
Yes.
of an inch.
Better put some respect on her name. Put some respect on her name. 4'11" and 7/8. Stand on business. Big Nita in the building. What? That's why I don't know why people cheat. Because if you have a problem, go together and y'all new people every season. Yeah, but like I understand why people cheat, but that doesn't make it
Okay.
okay, and that doesn't give it any excuses to do it. Because I feel that I know for a fact that there was times where the thought arose in me to cheat, but I didn't do it, and it wasn't because I so adored and loved my wife. What?
In this marriage?
Yeah. What? Oh no, let's talk about this.
I'm just making sure I heard you correctly.
We talked about this. Like literally, we talked about this. You was like,
Hey, I'm potting.
oh, he was like, have they ever been? And I was like, yeah, but and then like at I think on on Bible Holics, I actually talked about it too.
Yeah.
That I realized the reason why I don't cheat ain't because I love and adore. She playing whack a fool counseling. Look, you know what?
See, I'm not against counseling right now, honestly.
Yeah, we will get counseling, more counseling, and we're gonna get therapy, individual therapy. We're gonna get
Couples therapy.
Yeah,
The
couples
kids are
therapy,
going to get therapy.
couples therapy, marriage counseling, because I think there's like so much things that there's such another level we can go to as a married couple. And guess what? We're getting it, and there's no issues, there's no infidelity, there's no beefing, there's no clashing. We're actually in love with each other. We're like acting like high school kids. Like
The kids don't know what's going on. They're like, they're just looking at us like, what's going on?
I'm still playing grab cheeks, you know, on her. I'm still making passes on her like like we ain't been married 6+ years. Yeah, Joe will get lots of fist therapy when the video fist therapy when the video stops. Need to get sponsored by BetterHelp. Yeah, we do need sponsorship. So anybody that want to spend some money on us, because like literally like we fund everything. And you heard what I said, we fund everything. A lot of these married men out there think because if they make the money, it's his money. No, it's our money. We are a team. This is the kingdom of the Garretts. And guess who is king of this kingdom? God. I take my artists from him, and I gotta cover this family. So, what I was saying before they interrupt me about the cheating stuff. Yeah, I was like, sorry, I'm broke, but I can start a FundMe. Yeah, start a FundMe, and I'll share it. You can actually even take a starter's cut. I even give you a cut. But yeah, I told her that whenever we wasn't intimate, we'll keep it PG. Whenever we wasn't intimate, being that I come from a background of being a womanizer, all those thoughts and everything was flooding in, like, and the enemy was like, hey, if she isn't supplying you, you're well within your rights to go get it somewhere else. And I'm like, yeah, I am in my rights. But if I do, if I do cheat on my wife, then I'm gonna look like a bad husband. So no, it wasn't. Oh, but I love and I adore her so much, and I can't, because before it was like I never was the person hot or you was just hot. I was a man and I was just horny. So she wasn't supplying me with my needs, so I felt like it was within my rights for me to fulfill those needs. So my eyes started wandering, and then I realized that my eyes is wandering. So the Holy Spirit did not allow me to get into that mad, because he was like, nah, like, he stepped in because I guess he knows where that goes. And given my background, not just my background, you said you wasn't. Anyway, I tell you, uh, given my background, I come from a background of womanizers and adulterers and men that just couldn't be happy with one woman. So that being in my background, meaning that I have that generational tug and invitation that I can accept. But it's just an invitation. So I choose to decline it every time. Even though it tries to arouse in me, I always decline it. And first I started declining it because I didn't want her to feel like any other female was better than her. Then it got to the point where I stopped thinking about her feelings at the time because I was believing that she wasn't caring about my feelings because she wasn't giving me what I thought I deserved as a man, which was sex. So, you know how our brains work when we get into that, that bag, not knowing that there was things that was happening within her that wasn't allowing her to be, to be able to give that to me. And that's another thing, like, you do not know what your significant other or your spouse is going through. You're just assuming that crucify the flesh daily, exactly. But I wasn't at that time. I was like, man, my flesh wants what it wants. I'm like, man, I'm like, after like a month, I mean, like, I can fight it all day, but as soon as I go to sleep, my dreams just take hold, and then I wake up upset, and I start being a jerk to her. She's like, "What's going on?" And it's like I had to freaking sleep and dream about like multiple sexual encounters, and wake up and being denied. you know, so of course I was feeling some kind of way, but I never allowed it to subdue me and to push me into that realm. That's a demonic. Yeah, it would always happen because you know how they say about soul ties, that and being someone that had a large track record of soul ties in my past, like there's whenever I'm not unfulfilled in that area, I gotta fight those demons, and it becomes hell, and it literally agitates me. It puts me in a bad state of mind to the point where even if she wanted to give me some, now she doesn't. Because like I'm acting like an a-hole and I'm a jerk and I'm not really being, accommodating to her feelings or anything of that nature. So, what you gotta say about that? Hmm?
No comment.
No comment.
About, okay, which you want me to comment on? Because there's a lot.
Start from the
You said
beginning.
a lot.
Is it true in more men than we think? Look, it is true in more men than we think, but there's not a lot of men that's willing to say that.
Oh, of what part? Which you want me to comment on? What part?
About my mind frame about cheating and
Yeah. That's something I gotta work on too. But I always think like whenever you do go to work or whatever, and you know you travel far places, and I know there's times whenever you're in those moods to where you're just a butthole, and you know I'm like he has to be talking to someone else because if I'm not fulfilling his desires, there's he's a man, and there's I'm not gonna say men are weak in that area, but not
We
maybe.
are.
I don't want to say that you're a weak man, but I'm just saying like in that area, it just seems impossible to just sweep those feelings under the rug without acting upon it. So it's like if you I'm just saying like I remember one time it was actually like a couple of months ago, honestly, actually. Um, you know, we was going through that season of, no intimacy, um, in all aspects. And um,
Continue.
yeah, I'm not gonna comment on that comment. Um, um, and a message a message had popped up on your phone, and it was from a female, and I was like, he's cheating.
No, he is cheating.
He's cheating,
Got
and
him. We finally got him.
he's cheating. And you wouldn't even let me see your phone, and because you was like kind of like you, kind of like So I'm like, yep, he's cheating, and at that moment, I disconnected from you emotionally.
Oh wow.
Disconnected.
Now this is getting good.
Um,
Do tell.
So when you would try to, I don't know, and that's when we were kind of like at odds, but we didn't really know the reason why. The whole time I'm thinking you're already cheated, so I had to detach myself from you. Um, can you read that?
What sexual desires men are weak is something we have to grow in or mature in to understand too is real and fake in a woman for us to find true love. Yeah, and like when you said that, I don't want to call you a weak man. No, it's not that I was a weak man. It's that I'm a man with weaknesses.
Yeah.
So, but do tell, because this is getting
Yeah.
good.
So I did emotionally detach myself because, as you know,
Yeah.
I'm very emotional.
Well, why you didn't speak on it? Like, why didn't you?
Because you were in that mindset, that rut, and it's like every time I would ask you something or tell you something, it's like you didn't really want to be bothered.
Because I was sexually frustrated.
I didn't know that. Why you didn't tell me that?
Okay.
Exactly.
When when was the last time we was intimate?
Today.
No.
Oh.
Few hours before the pod. No. Yes, we were. It was very amazing and good. Thank you. Don't send me on a pod. Don't send me on a pod just full. Real, something pre-counseling can't prepare you for. Exactly. Okay, so moving on. Now she's open to say everything. Yep.
What you mean? Say your question again.
Why didn't you voice it? Because like, okay, you said I didn't know you were sexually frustrated, but then I was like, that's another thing that you can get right in premarital counseling. The fact that how often do you want to be satisfied sexually? Because
that's one thing I don't think we touched on in premarital counseling.
We didn't touch on it at all because actually we're to that point in our marriage that we're not to the point where we discuss what we like or not what we don't like while having sex. We're not to that point in our marriage. That's why I say we need growth, and like we're not to that point where, hey, you know when you do this, don't do that no more. That's that kind of stuff. Like we're.
I actually voiced that to you one time. I said, "Don't do that no more."
Uh,
I told you something that, yeah. Moving on.
Man, this is getting spicy. But back to
Let's try to keep it G-rated.
Okay. Man, back to back to you not voicing it because like how can that's the thing about
Okay, how can I voice my opinion or voice a concern when I know if I say something to you, it's already you're already in an agitated mood, and I don't want to agitate you even more with me saying how I feel or something, you know. So like where
I was trying to get at is you said that I didn't know you were sexually frustrated, but my thing is why not think about the last time we had sex and then be like
because that's not something that's on my mind or any other woman's mind. Like, let me see, when was the last time we were intimate? Maybe that will make him feel better.
usually yes, like if you be like
No.
he's agitated. Let me see the last time. Oh, we're overdue. Baby, follow me into the room. There's a meeting.
No, I don't think most women. Maybe I'm just not like most women. I don't. That's not the
No, I
first
don't
thing that
think other women do it too. Like
in a marriage
it's all
or another
it's
fear how they will
all
take it.
She's 100% right. Like, exactly. Like I don't think like, and I'm saying that we should come to that point. They don't think. I didn't say they don't think. I think we should get to that point where we're comfortable enough with our spouse to be like, hey, because me and my wife, we had that conversation. So I tell her, I'm like, hey, after like 2 to 3 days, I start feeling the effects of no intimacy. Okay? So if we have not connected sexually after those days and I start seeming like I'm agitated, 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, that's why. So, and it's crazy because I'm not to that point in my marriage where I feel comfortable enough to verbally ask my wife, hey, can we have sex? Or, hey, babe, I need sex. It's like I'm still in that point where, this is true stuff here, I'm still to that point where I throw hints. And I'm hoping that she catch the hints. And then when she doesn't catch the hints, I hold it against her for not catching the hints. When I should be vocally and be like, hey, like, like we're overdue in this department. And I need you to remedy that. Like ASAP. So, but go on. I want to know, like, why didn't you be like, hey, are you cheating on me? Sorry, not sorry, dude. It's 30 years and I don't say anything. See, that's what I'm talking about. This is some good stuff right here. Now we get
Why
into it.
I didn't ask you?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you was going to deny.
So you think I'm a low down, dirty dog that just would cheat on you and then lie about it?
No, I was actually afraid of the answer being yes.
Oh, do tell. So, okay, of course.
Because, okay, look.
So when did you find out that I wasn't?
And I went through your messages.
Wow! Oh my God! I'm gonna say both of you need to take the filter off and stop being scared of how the other will react. I did that for so long and it got us nowhere. But the minute I took the filter off, things changed. And that is a woman saying that.
Megan, where have you been?
She's like, I've been ducked off being silent in the corner. But
friend, where have you been?
let's not get off that. Wait. This is the first time that you have let me know that you went through my.
Let me tell you. Okay, I was going through. I don't know what kind of season that
Don't
was.
gaslight me.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, there was a time where you was, to me, your behavior was strange. Okay, you was acting out of the norm. You wouldn't really talk. You were dodging eye contact, communication. Like, you was just weird. So I investigated what was going on. If you weren't gonna talk to me, I was gonna find out what was going on, one way or another.
Ladies and
So
gentlemen, this is an exclusive right now. This is the first time I'm hearing this. I'm I'm literally hearing it the same time you guys are hearing it about this exclusive thing. I never knew that. Now, does that say that I do not trust my wife after this? Of course not. Like, I just find this like very amusing that she did that. Like, I never pictured her ever being the type of female to go through a phone.
I felt guilty that after that because I'm
No,
like,
I have never went through her phone ever.
huh?
He said, "Wait, bro, you never went through her phone?" No, I had never went through her phone because we have that relationships where we have the passwords to each other's phones, and we just like frequently just like we just leave our phones wherever when we're in the house, and she can pick up my phone, answer my phone, vice versa, and everything. So I didn't see no need to go through her phone, and being that she went through my phone at a time where she had to find out that I was cheating on that, and I did not know it until today. Just really, I don't know, like
I know
It's
that
the-
probably changed
might-
the way you.
no, this might be toxic because that's like I don't know why I'm turned on now about that. I don't know. Is it weird that I don't know?
Yeah,
Just
that's weird because
yeah. I think
now
I'm
I
gonna need
feel
counseling.
now I
but-
feel like our trust is broken because I couldn't come to you straightforward. I had to go behind your back, go through your.
No, the thing is, what am I doing that would make you feel that you cannot come to me?
The way you respond sometimes.
Like, I know.
You respond harshly sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
So
I
in
can
order to protect myself, I don't come to you.
like how much of a good guy that people see me as.
You're a really good guy, but as soon
Whenever
as south,
when
it
I go
goes
south, I'm
It's-
like really south. Like I'm like
You could be-
without God, I'm like really, really a horrible human being.
you are,
hmm
and that's the person that you were for a month,
I'm so
almost 2 months.
I'm like cut deep, sarcastic.
You're harsh.
I'm stern. I'm harsh. Like I don't care about feelings.
Don't.
I do not care. Like I
It's
go for
like
the
you
heart.
have no soul when
I
you're
have
in that.
no soul. Like
when
literally,
you're-
I tell y'all, thank God for God. Because if I was not saved, a lot of you guys would not be safe right now. They would not be safe. And being that I'm like MMA trained, I would be like literally devouring people on a day to day, just for fun. But that's why I said that we need counseling. We need, like we need therapy. Like we need all these things because I did not know that when the Holy Spirit exposed me to that. It was like, hey, there's some things that's happening internally within both of y'all that you guys really need to take care of because even though it's not causing any problems between your own marriage at the moment, it will affect it in the future and how y'all raise y'all kids now. So there's some things that y'all guys need to go through to be more healthy and areas y'all need to grow in and things of that such. So yeah. So I want to tell you right now that I don't hold it against you what you did.
Well, I hold it against
I
you.
don't know. Don't receive that. Like, don't feel condemned. No, because it passed. It happened. I understand that you did it because out of insecurity that you felt that I was cheating on you. But it's a good thing that you found out that I wasn't. Because it's like, I stood on business like I wasn't. So that's a good thing that, you know. Now, if I was, we probably wouldn't be here right now, huh?
I wouldn't have nowhere to go, so I would still stay.
Oh, wow. You know what? We can't even that when he comes at you harshly, you have to come back at him like, hey, hold up. Excuse me, what did I do to deserve that? I'm just trying to talk to you. Sometimes you have to redirect.
See,
Make them
Megan,
realize that.
that's good to say, but I never speak up. I just be like, fine, like, and then just give him some space or whatever.
Purposely, but if the woman pay attention at all, demeanor before sex and after, it would be like, I believe sex can get me more non-aggressive.
So why is it always, uh, why is it always? It seems like it's always one sided that women have to come to men to deal with y'all stuff
Cause we feel like
instead
y'all,
of y'all coming.
we feel like y'all have the power, like y'all have to access. Like a man will not turn down sex. So we know that our wives would turn down sex for any situation because like any reason that y'all might have, y'all might not be in the mood, y'all mentally y'all might not be there. Like so much things can be happening. So us as men, another thing, we don't like rejection. That's a big thing with me too. Like I'm still to the point where even though I'm on that path where God is growing me to be able to be proud and walk in how he create me, I still can't. I still battle with falling into that realm of people pleasing, so I don't get rejected. Sometimes I gotta pull that back. Like I had someone send me a message about lighting up church that they wanted to hear more about this, and that, and everything. And for a second, I was like, yeah, but then the Holy Spirit had to like literally slap me and was like, no, you do what I call you to do, and you don't try to please them. If they want this, let them go somewhere else. So I was like, yeah. So I started standing on business. They need to know that we want them in the same way they want. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like we start feeling insecure too. Like maybe she doesn't want me that way sexually because you gotta understand. Like there's still stuff that happened to me in my last marriage that I still have to be delivered from. Like being rejected sexually. So making that advance, like the first time I made that advance, because I'm making this with my wife, like I literally made that advance and I got totally shut down. And I'm like, I'm never making that advance again. Like that hurt it. Like man, just being like, and feeling like you did something wrong, feeling like you are wrong forever, thinking that I want to have sex with you, kind of situation. Like, ugh. So it's like, oh wow, like all right. You know? So this has been a great episode. Never knew it was gonna go this. This is amazing. This is awesome. We got like 24 more minutes left into this podcast before we actually get shut off of this app because I think we got like 2, 3 apps, something like that. I don't know. But we're going to like
It's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, 2.5 hours on this. When men get rejected, it's like we are not wanted and feel disrespected because it was already hard to even man up and ask. Yeah, I know that's so hard because like all this I'm talking and everything, like I still am afraid to ask my wife for sex. So I give hints. Like it's still hard for me to be like, baby, I want to have sex with you. Like it's still hard for me to do that, which is crazy. Like still to this day.
Same.
Don't they think just as they feel a man is cheating because of attitude? Don't they think that if we get turned down for 3 months that the woman not cheating?
No.
They. Oh, you can go.
Sometimes, okay. Let me tell you from my standpoint because he doesn't know this. I was going through suicidal thoughts and depression at the time. to where I'm basically just going through the flow with, like, every day is a struggle for me to just wake up and be a mom and a wife, take care of the house and things and personal issues. So, and then to have to try to satisfy your husband's needs when you can't even deal with your own internal feelings. It's you know it's it seems like it's kind of selfish on the man's part to not even realize a change has happened in the spouse, to feel like, oh, she's not herself. So maybe there's something wrong to where, like, she doesn't want to be intimate right now. So let me figure it out. So, you know, sexual intimacy shouldn't be one-sided. Um, it should be a two-way street. Like, figure out, like, what is causing your spouse to act differently when it comes to sexual intimacy, or why there is a lack thereof. So don't just be, I'm sorry to say this, but don't be selfish about it. Be um, more compassionate towards your spouse. That goes for both the husband and the wife. Be more compassionate towards your spouse to see, like, why there's lack of intimacy and communication thereof.
Wait a minute, a man is selfish for not recognizing.
No, I said both. I said both ways.
Yeah, it says
I
both
didn't
ways.
say um, just a man. I said both, a man and woman, needs to recognize, what's going on between your spouse.
That's crazy, cause like
Yeah, well, I said it at the end, but I still,
yeah,
mentioned it.
experience with depression is very hard to overcome, and when you feel alone and no one understands it, hard to please anyone else when you're just fighting to stay above water.
That was me.
Yeah, and
That was me, basically.
it's crazy because like it's that feeling that a lot of us guys go through at that time. It's so overpowering that even the sweetest, most kind, gentle, understanding guy a lot of times get into this selfish mode of just can't see past that. Like, man, I don't know why she's not fulfilling my needs and stuff like that. And just to know that, man, you're not even you're not even mindful of your significant other, that she's like literally suicidal right now. Like, and she's being left with your kids and doing all these things, and the only thing you can think about right now is why she's not busting it open for you. So, in that sense, it's like that's why biblically it says, like, husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church, and like all of the things we have to do, because in a sense, whenever you put those needs above your spouse, you can miss so much that's going on in that moment with them, and just not knowing what you was enduring, just literally me thinking that, oh, you just really going through being aggravated with the kids all day. So, that's why you're in that state of mind, and the reason why I'm aggravated. You can solve my aggravation, but I can't necessarily solve yours, because that's our kids. We just gotta train them up in a better way so they can act better. But hey, you got the tools to solve my problem. and you were held in those tools. So in that sense, that's pretty much where the mind frame was. But now to have you open up that dark process to me, that mindset to me, to be like, man, you have to be like literally more sensitive, not just to your surroundings, not just to your family, not just to your spouse, but also to the spirit. Because usually when I'm in that mode, I'm not spending time with God. I'm not praying. I can't see beyond these urges and everything. I'm not even like, I'm just fighting the temptations and fighting the demons to the point where I don't have no time for anything else. I ain't even got no time to be happy or to be myself or to even enjoy where I'm at. All I can do is be in the frustration of what I'm not getting and how my needs not being met. And then not even like know like literally all the things that you are enduring. It's just, yep, that breaks my heart more than anything. So, anything else you want to disclose? Because I did not expect this pod to go this way today. Like, man, like, we might get a call from Pastor Zach tomorrow. And like, oh, guys.
I'm going to set up some counseling sessions for you guys.
So, you guys had a very, very full night. It's like, oh, you think? So, any other
Questions?
comments, questions you guys want to put in the chat?
Y'all have 15 minutes.
Yeah, I got 15 minutes. Go. 15 minutes Q&A before we close down this session, which was an amazing episode, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second to last episode of this season. Next episode, we're going to let you guys know about how it was. Y'all covered it well. About how it was getting into ministry, being married into ministry, the things that we were staying in ministry. We'll tell y'all the story about how we had a witch on our back trying to destroy our marriage, our family, the ministry, everything. It's like so much things we had to endure. Friends turn on us. How, you know, Christian friends turn their backs. Like so much things we have to get into next episode, which is going to be the last episode of the season, the first season. Then the next season, we're going to take it into a whole nother direction where we have other couples on. We discuss, present issues, present things, just allowing whatever happens, allowing the spirit to go forth like it did this evening. And man, it's a lot of things. Whew, I don't know about y'all, but felt really good. I felt like I got a lot from this episode. I felt like I was able to pour it out a lot, received a lot. I feel like I know a lot more about my significant other in a good way, in a great way. Nothing that she has to be in fear of after this episode, meaning that y'all ain't gotta fear for her life after these after the cameras cut off. Like, man, we might have to do a courtesy drive-by to make sure they're like, nah. Like, if anything else, like, this episode really made me, this is counseling. Yeah, actually, this episode really made me see her in a new light that actually made me love her more. Actually, like, actually pushed me to want to be better for her more, to grow as a husband, to grow as a father, and just to grow as an individual for her more, to make sure that all the things that I went through for that special day wasn't in vain because I dropped the ball in the marriage. And spend all that time just being angry and wanting to fuss and fight to make it perfect for her, but then the things that I can control, I'm not really doing the right things with. So, I just want to make sure that with every episode or every day that goes by that I'm inclining, not declining. Like, that I upgrade as a husband and that I'm, I don't even want to like, like plateau or anything. I just want to continue to just be better. And it starts with her opening up her mouth because that's the problem. She don't be talking. Just playing. But yeah, and I think that it's really getting her to the point where she's opening it up more.
Yeah. Without having that fear of you shutting down.
Yeah.
That's an important part.
Yeah, I've been like in a really good place lately.
Yeah, I found like the other day I'm sitting in the family room and he comes up to me. He's like all giddy and wanting to hold me and dance with me. I'm just like, what's wrong with you? Like, this is weird. Like, you don't do this. He goes, well, I prayed this morning. I'm like, oh, that explains it.
Yeah. Oh, you spend time with God. Because usually when you spend time with God,
everything goes right. I still found it weird because he doesn't do that. But it was...
Because it's just things that, like, whenever I spend time with God, like, the Holy Spirit pushes me to do. But a lot of times I still don't do it. Because I'm like, oh, she knows I love her kind of situation. But then now the Holy Spirit is like, no, like, you have to now make sure that your marriage doesn't become stagnant.
Yeah.
Because we can be on like a good page and the marriage be stagnant.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we're good and everything. It's like, yeah, but there's stagnation. That's because he just had sex. I didn't even have sex. We didn't even have sex that morning. Or the night before, I don't think. Did we have sex the night before? No, we didn't have sex the night before. Who had sex that night? But
just telling all our business.
Well, you said
that was an accident. I mean, you asked a question and I was just like, oh.
Today? Just a while ago? It's like, well, thank you for letting everybody know. But thank y'all for joining us.
This concludes another episode of the Stay Yoked podcast.
Of course, remember, subscribe.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. Like.
He said, thank you later.
Share. That's how y'all guys show y'all support. We're not saying that you should throw money at this.
Even though that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We would not give it back. No wonder he's so happy tonight. If you know, you know.
Oh my God, I'm logging out.
Hey, you are a married woman that is that is satisfying your husband. Okay, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Okay,
they don't need to know.
They need to know that husbands are being satisfied sexually. Christian husbands. So,
my God. I think I'm blushing.
Yeah, she's blushing. But yeah, so that's how y'all show y'all support. We don't need y'all to throw money at us, even though we would not reject it if y'all do. But if y'all just promote, share, subscribe, like literally, like y'all can run up the numbers, y'all can run up the views to the point where
the likes, the shares,
that they give us ads and we get money from ads and things of that such. So if it really bless y'all, subscribe, like, share. It takes nothing. It takes a few seconds to be able to do things like that. You're totally going to.
Oh my God!
Indeed, I will. I do not. I do not doubt that. Why is? Oh, sorry. There we go. All right. So once again, thank y'all for tuning in. We literally got 8 minutes left. It's like in the red. But hey, and if you want to score like me, this was a blueprint episode. You wake up, you talk to God, you allow Him to tell you what to do. You treat your wife like you are dating her. You give her sweet butterfly kisses, and you slow dance with her, and you caress her ever so gently and soft. And you go ahead and see where that takes you. And if it doesn't end up well, don't blame me. Until next time, this has been the Stay Yoked podcast. Like always, be blessed and tip your waitress. It's still on.
I don't care.